in poems 2.7 and 2.8, we see again how Ovid is sort of exploring the traditional, well, as we say, the conventions of love elegy, and sort of peeling back the veil, as it were, of the rhetoric and of love in these poems. So in 2.7, it's a kind of speech to his mistress. It's addressed to, one assumes, Corinna, and it's a speech in which Ovid is defending himself against her accusations of infidelity, and he's complaining that she's too jealous, and how could she think that he would possibly be committing adultery, as it were, or be unfaithful with her slave girl. So he engages in strong protestations of innocence and devotion to his puella, all of which are fairly standard by this point, and we've seen similar protestations in Persius as well in particular. So what Ovid then does is, in the following poem, and these poems are to be taken as a pair, the poem 2.8 is addressed to Supassus, the actual slave girl with whom he was accused of being unfaithful, and it's addressed to her, and it turns the whole protestations of fidelity on their head. Supassus, he says, how does Corinna know about our affair? So it turns out that he has been unfaithful, and that Corinna, of course, was right. So he sets up a dramatic scenario of intense, in which the lover is protesting his absolute passion and devotion, and then he completely undermines that and shows that was just a line that he was playing to ensure that his mistress, still remained his mistress. And we see that the reality, of course, is that the poet-lover is playing both women off each other. So that's one way in which it's clear that when Ovid in the Amores is talking about amor, it's not necessarily to be taken as, it's certainly not meant to be taken as sincere or a reflection or an expression of real passion. He's exposing it as being a sort of a fiction. One of the other things that becomes clear in Ovid's poetry is the power dynamic in elegy between the poet and the puella. So obviously elegy operates on this gender reversal, which says that the poet is the servant of the puella, and puts her in the position of domina or mistress. What you have in 2.7 and 2.8, where the poet is trying to placate his domina, Corinna, by saying that he wasn't unfaithful, and then he undermines that completely by talking to Supassus and saying that how dare she sort of let the secret out, and how did Corinna find out, and he threatens her with he threatens her because she is, of course, a slave and in the most vulnerable position possible. So we see how the relationship of dominance and submission in these poems, that idea that it is a countercultural reversal of gender norms, is immediately reversed backwards again when Ovid asserts his power over the slave girl. And it also shows the sort of more complex relationship between, for example, Corinna and her slave girl. So the relationship between these two women is also unequal and one of domination as well.